Hello everybody, welcome in. Today I'm going to be making a pendant with this cute little Veriscite cab from Minotaur Studios. I'm very excited to be able to go live on my first time on my main account. So thanks to the teamwork group for getting me enough followers for that. We're going to start out with 4 pieces of 20 gauge wire, and I'm going to wrap it with a small piece of 20 gauge half round, and this will make a cage for our pendant. You can see a couple examples at the top here of how it'll kind of end up looking. So I'm just going to do short live today, probably just make one pendant and kind of see how it goes. But yeah, I'm excited to give this a shot. I think it should be fun to try to add going live in here. I don't feel like it's super focused. Let me learn focusing lengths. That's fun. Maybe we'll pop this up a little bit farther and see what that does. Might be decent. So as I'm going here, I'm starting to wrap around, and then I'm going to squish to keep all 4 pieces here pretty flat. So that what we're going for is wrapping this bit to keep all the wires together. And I'm going to keep going. I want to go maybe 10 times, 15 times around here. Try to keep it as neat as possible. I think it's a little less neat than normal because I'm trying to do it on camera. That's just kind of what'll happen, I guess. But yeah, here we are. So I'm going to go a couple more times and then I'll trim it up and get it set up for putting the stone in. I'm thinking maybe I'll try to go live a couple times a week. We'll see. I've been pretty busy lately. But we'll see what happens. Okay. So here we go. We've gone around 14 times or so. Hey, welcome in, Danielle. Alright, so welcome in, everybody. We're just making a Veriscite pendant here. It's just a pretty simple cage wrap, so I'm wrapping 20 gauge half round. Oh, my cat has joined the party. 20 gauge half round around 4 pieces of 20 gauge round wire. Hey, welcome in, M. This is my first time going live on my main account, so I'm very excited that I have enough followers on here to do that. Alright, so what we got is 4 pieces of 20 gauge wrapped together, and then because this has a point, which I'm going to put point down, instead of rounding this like this, which I would normally do if I was putting it on the round side of the stone, I'm going to do a kind of a sharper crease about halfway. So I'm going to count the number here. So we got, I think it's 14, so I think it should be 7 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is here. Yeah, I think that's right. Alright, so I'm just going to make a sharp crease right here, and then try to get half on each side properly. Just get a little bit of space in the middle there. And then I think I'll use this other one. Hey, welcome in everyone. Alright, so here we go. We're making a cage for this pretty stone. And then I usually flip it over because for some reason it gets kind of curved and one side wants to poke up farther than others. Alright, so now we're looking like this. And then what you want to do is start fitting it to your pendant. And in this case, I know you can see it better when I hold it up, but I'll be putting it down so that hopefully I can kind of bend it around the stone a little bit better. So I'm kind of just trying to shape it to the stone itself. So I want a nice tight fit at the bottom. Just gonna make small adjustments here. And sometimes it's also better to use the larger pliers as well. If any of you watching are wire wrappers, what are you working on today? Or this week, or whatever. This is me trying to engage viewers because I'm new to this, but I like making pretty rocks. So, hey, welcome in, Lachina. Okay. So now we're wrapping it around the stone, and what we're going to want to do is leave a little bit of a gap at the top, but have the wire come to a bit of a point. So you're kind of making like an eye shape here with when you used a teardrop, and you'll want a little bit of space at the top for your wires to come back and attach, but not too much space. So I'm going to go about here and then just kind of clamp it, and that will put a bend in the wires for me to work with. Alright, so once we do that, pick it back up, and then I try to sort them out. The wires like to kind of crisscross like this. That's not what we want. We want them all nice and flat in rows. So let's see here. Yeah, so I like to just kind of hold it with the pliers. Hey, Rosa Rivera. And that usually will flatten out those 4 pieces, and then just kind of find it at the pinch point and bend it. And then you can see again on this side it's a little messed up. The crease is at the right spot, but they're crisscrossed, so you just need to kind of shuffle it around a little bit till it's all in line. Then do a bit of a clamp. Hey, welcome in everyone. Alright, so you're trying to keep it pretty flat. Then come up here. Alright, once it seems like it's pretty decent, gonna kind of put it together, and it'll keep trying to switch on you, so you gotta be careful here a little bit. And just make sure that it still looks good when you put your rock in it, which it does. So then I'm going to take this, I made it a little excessively long, but this is about a foot or a little over a foot of 20 gauge half round, and you're going to bind the top. So where the bottom is bound in this direction, the top you're binding all 8 of those wires together, and this will be making the cage that will ultimately hold your stone. Okay. Continuing to shuffle, trying to get these all flat. And this wire is actually a little too long, so I'm going to clip it a little bit so it's a little easier to work with. Alrighty, so I take a little bit of a tail. You want flat side down, and I'll hold the cage together at the top and then wrap it around. Start out with twice, and then again adjust and make sure everything's flat. They try to bend and get the wires in the wrong spot, which can be very annoying. So go on both sides, try to make sure they're lining up properly. They're already getting grumpy about that. There we go. So it's just a lot of going back and forth. But the main thing we're trying to do here is bind these flat, 4 flat on each side, 8 total together. And then I like to go around about 3 times, and you want to put a little bit of tension on here. And then you bend down and through the side closest to you and go around just the 4 there twice, and then bend in, and then we will clip that on the inside. Alright, so you got this here, and then this is also the point where I will go one more time around at the top of the neck here, and then I'm going to gently squeeze with all 3 of those together. So this will make it a little more tidy up at the top. You want to be careful that you're not marring the wire when you're doing this. So we got these 3. We got these 2 guys down here, trying to keep everything tidy. Alright, and then I'm going to clip this bit on the inside here. And again, just going back and making sure everything's together right. This bit here wants to have one of them out of order, so I'm just squishing it multiple times to try to get those 4 in line. And I don't always do this perfectly, and this is not the fun, sexy part of the project, but it does keep your stuff more neat and tidy, which makes it more appealing at the end. Alright, so I think one of these is actually popped through the wrong way, so I'm going to actually undo it a little bit. This is the part that can be frustrating as you're trying to get them all. You need to get it loose enough so that you can put it where it goes. So just bear with me a moment here. Those are in line. And these 4. Okay. Get a little confusing once they get up in here. And honestly, sometimes I give up and let them be a little crisscrossed if it gets too frustrating. But if we can, I like to do it right. Okay. I think it's this guy. Oh, hey, sorry about that. Okay. Promise I know how to do this. With the camera, it's a little more tricky. These 2 middle guys like to get crossed all the time. That's what I'm having trouble with. Okay, I think we're finally back where we should go, so I'm going to quick bind that tighter before they have a chance to get in the wrong spot. Woohoo! Alright, we're good to go. Okay, so this is our cage. I would like this to be... Hey, focus. Cool. Alright, so this is our cage. And then, again, one more time. I just like checking and double checking as we go through because you don't want to get to the end and not be able to fit. So I'll check one more time that this is fitting my stone, which it is. So this is about the proportion that you want. You want a little bit of space at the top. Alright, so then we're going to bend the front 2 wires forward and we'll wrap around those, and those will become the bail. So these front 2, the front from the left and the front from the right, we'll bend forward. Hey Cordelia, welcome in. Cordelia is one of the first people I learned from, so you should follow her. Alright, so we're bending that forward, and I'll be wrapping these 2 together to create the bail. Then we'll show you how to capture the stone. Thanks, Cordelia. Yeah, I am so excited that I can finally go live on my main account here where I have like all my actual friends and everything. Super pumped about that. So just learning the camera thing. All right. Especially with the twirling stuff around the bail, I see that the camera is can get a little irritating because I'm just trying to twist this around a bunch of times. So what you're going for is going about 1 inch. You want it about 1 inch, which, fun fact, is actually about the distance between this part of your second finger. Give or take, of course, depending on the size of your hands, but it's a rough rule of measure. I've still got a ways to go on this one, so we're going to do that. Thank you for sharing, Cordelia. I appreciate that. Welcome in, Allie. Alright, so then also every once in a while, as I'm just holding the flat side down and I'm twisting this so that it will continue to make the bail, every once in a while I'm going to hold it at the top with my pliers and I'm going to just shove these all down. That keeps it nice and neat. And I'm also occasionally going to check how far I have gone. So I'm getting pretty close. I'll probably go a little bit more. And then we'll see how you do the bail part. Welcome in, Jim. Welcome in, user 879. Alright, so I think this is probably enough. So again, I'm going to hold it at the top. I'm going to slide it all down so it's nice and tight. And then personally, because I always start my wrap the same way, I know that the side that has 2 little bits here is on the right side, so we're facing up here. And then I make sure this gets a little bit squared up with how it started, so it should be 2 wires side by side here going straight up, so we kind of flatten that out a little bit. And then, hey, welcome Irman, welcome Bruno, Chester, Amanda. So now I'm just going to be squishing this down a little bit. This just makes it a little neater, I think. It's a little flatter. If you want to keep that rounded look, you don't have to squish it. Welcome Liz, welcome Butch. Alright, so now we've got about an inch, give or take, at the top here. I'm going to clip the half round in the back. So it looped to the back, and then I clipped it. Or will. In a moment here. Alright. So now we have this, and then I use my hands. You can use a bail plier. I'm going to be, hey, welcome in. I'm going to be bending this down and around and through the frame. I'm also going to make a sharper bend towards the inside with my pliers here. That'll help it be a little bit neater. So just carefully take your time, and I'm using dead soft copper from Rio Grande. Take your time, bend it down and through. This is about the size of the bail, so you can do more or less wrapping if you want a bigger or smaller bail. What is doing melting? I am not sure what that means, Cordelia. Oh, yeah, it was. So I have this, I think I need a, yeah, I think, so I have this fancy camera holder thing, and it's like, there's a spot here with a hole so the camera can go through, and the part that actually holds my camera in place, I think there was a set screw that was getting loose. That makes sense, yeah. So it's just slowly, like as I'm moving, it's vibrating like slower and slower over this way. Which this is actually like not as tight as I was kind of hoping it would stay. But anyway. So then you bring the bail wires through, and then you wrap each around their respective sides once or twice. And then we will clip that, and that will be our bail. So you just kind of pop it. It came through this side, and then you pop it up and around the side. Yeah, Cordelia, I thought maybe you were talking about like the heat in Texas or something was melting you, because it was pretty hot here too. I was gonna go on a hike, and then I decided not to go on a hike and just to eat dinner. Because it was like in the 80s. So that's on the Midwest. It was like 60s the other day, and then it was like 80s today, so you just never know. Hey, welcome Minotaur Studio. So I've never used Rio Grande. Do you like it? I do like it. It's dead soft. It's basically, at least whenever I bought it, it was about $25 for a 1 pound spool of copper wire. So I've re-upped like 1 or 2 of the types that I use the most. Okay, how did this happen? This still crisscrossed. That's so irritating. It is good, Varda, because I'm Varda. It is going good. Mondo. Watch me fumble my first live. My life is a little bit crazy, but wire wrapping is good right now, so that's great. Okay. This is just not gonna behave. I thought we were past this. Guys. I am excited that some of my friends are here. That is very fun. Super pumped to be able to go live and chat with you guys. trying to do a super quick one on a cage, but everything is harder when people are watching. Okay, well, I'm just gonna, yeah, that's true, Mondo. I might take this away from the camera just a second and try to straighten these wires. They're getting all squirrely up here. Okay. Yes. This happens to me sometimes, but more often when people are watching. Alright, pretend we aren't here. Well, actually it's better with at least Cordelia and Mondo, because now I know that people are here that I know, so that's kind of more fun. But yeah, I'm super pumped. I don't know if you guys have seen the like teamwork trend, but I hopped on that trend this week, and that's what got me enough followers to be able to go live. So it's pretty cool. People helping each other out on the interwebs. Okay. So now we've got our cage, and then we will flip it. This is the front side still. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that, Mondo. So then I'm going to flip it to the back, and I'm going to make a little stopper for the stone. So, hey Mondo, by the way, I'm using your Veriscite stone here. So y'all, if you're watching, Mondo is a stone supplier, and he has pretty stuff like this. Thank you, appreciate it. Alright, so now we've popped those in the back. So now we're going to put our stone in. I'm putting it point down. You can put it either way. Thank you. Good deal. Okay. Then I'm just going to mess with it a little bit. See, I thought it would be super tight all the way up to the bottom. Yeah, I bought one Veriscite Mondo, and I made it into a sterling silver pendant, and someone bought it, and then I was like, well, now I don't have any Veriscite, so I bought 3 more. I was like, they're too pretty, I have to have some. So we're doing this one in copper, but I've got 2 more. Alright. Now I'm just popping up the sides here. These are going to go onto the face, and they're going to hold this stone in. So welcome in everybody if you're joining. All right, so just going right at the bottom here and just popping up a little bit, and I like to do that. I have 4 wires. I like to do that with 2 of them on each side, just to give a little more stability on the top, and then you still have 1 on the... Yeah, I do too, Cordelia. I'm pretty pumped about that, actually. It's pretty exciting. So, alright, so now we got this holding up this side, and then I'm going to do that on the other side, and then we'll kind of see where we're at and adjust if needed. So sometimes I'll use my fingernails. I've seen other people use, a butter knife or something to kind of get you space to get your tweezers in there. But I'm just kind of right at the base here, I'm just popping it up. So, alright, and then I'm trying to keep this as even as possible, and that sort of mostly is working. Okay. Then I also sometimes will just use the flat side of my pliers and push against it to kind of get it nice and tight against the stone. here we go. And then if we want to put it just a little bit farther towards the front, we can. I might do that later, but right now I'm just gonna start anchoring and start the design at the top and see if that anchors the stone in well enough. So for the top, you have these 3 pieces now on each side. Hey, thanks for sharing, Mondo. And thanks for all the likes, guys. 2.7, that's awesome. All right. So if these aren't straight enough, I'll use my nylon pliers to kind of straighten this out. You can do whatever you want at the top. I like to start with a tight curl, and then that kind of helps me build the rest of my curls around it. Hey, DRM. So I just kind of use my fingers to work it around in a coil, and I sometimes just go over a little bit to make sure it's centered on the bail. Then just popping around. Want that to be a little bit tighter. Okay, that is not what we're going for. We're going for better than this. I might use my round nose pliers to just kind of, that's better, it's getting better. With smooth also, we want smooth curves because that makes stuff pretty. So I try to keep stuff as put together and smooth as possible as I curl around. All right, this is starting to look decent. All right. And the good thing about soft copper is if it gets really out of hand, you can just undo it and start all the way over, which I may do because this isn't as smooth as I want, but I also might just let it go for the time being. So you're going for a nice smooth curve out. I like to try to go out and around a little bit and then come back in. Then you're going to bend it down over the side, kind of put your thumb here. Down over the side, and then again holding it, and you're going to clip it and tuck it right in there and crimp it to make it stay. So I'm just bending this. And then I'm crimping it. So that's going to make a pretty decent connection there, and that should not come off. All right, and then we're basically going to use this first bend that we have here and use that to have each of the rest of our wires follow that. Hey, thanks, Mondo. Have a good night. Enjoy whatever it is you're off to. Appreciate the support. Oh, hey, thank you for the hand hearts. Okay. So we're following that line there. Again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut. And I'm going to tuck that in. like to keep everything nice and close and tight. Alright, and then this is the third one here, going up and around. We're just trying to follow, doing any adjustments we need to, but just trying to follow around here. And this part of keeping it nice and tidy is one of the harder parts, and that'll just take practice. If you don't get it on the first try, don't be frustrated. Craft wire also can be a little more stiff than dead soft, and so it can be harder to work with. So even with the same skill, it can be a little bit more frustrating. So don't beat yourself up too bad if you're not good at it the first time. Then I like to do this to just kind of flatten the wire, make it all cohesive together. You have to be a little careful not to mar your wire when you do that. I did make a little bit of a mark there. Hopefully it'll come out. When I oxidize and polish. And then I'm just going to do this. I think this other side now is going to kind of come down a little bit lower. But I'm just going to follow the same basic pattern. So I'm just trying to swoop it. That is a Veriscite. Have I ever done a craft show? I have, actually. I started doing them this year. I'm trying to go to one a month. So I was a vendor at a fashion show, and that was pretty low-key. There weren't too many sales. Then last month, I was a vendor at a bigger event with like, I don't know, 40 or 50 vendors, and that was kind of fun because I actually got a lot of sales. And then on Sunday, I'm actually going to be at an outdoor market at a winery. So hoping for good weather because we've had some bad storms. Ooh, you're going to do one Sunday? That's awesome. DRM, I've been going for about a year. Started May of last year, 2023. Oh, it's not bad. I mean, yeah, I was like also stressed the first time. Biggest advice, if you have a chance, is get a wagon to carry your stuff in. That's what I did, because otherwise the first one I went to, I made like 10 trips, and I was really irritated by that time. But yeah, it was fun. Basically, you're just like, hanging out with other vendors and stuff, even if, like, I guess especially if sales are bad, just everybody is like, well, sales suck. I guess we're going to just like hang out and talk or something. And then I could kind of see what they were doing. So most of mine had like a 6-foot table provided. And then you'll probably want like, go to the dollar store or something and get some plastic tablecloths, or if you have real tablecloths, just get something to decorate. I think I might chop it here. We'll see. I'm also on like 5% battery. But let's see. Should I go around one more? I think I'm going to go around again. Also, if you can, print out like a QR code for them to scan to pay you, or like on Venmo or whatever, that can be helpful if it's printed out for them to scan, but it's not necessary. This may not have been my best choice on how to end it. My internet kind of sucks over here. Well, my internet provider is fine. It's just the Wi-Fi router that I have, even though I paid a bunch of money for it because I work from home. It kind of sucks, and I'm kind of sad about that. But I'm almost done, and then I'm going to be hot